The 2026 Pontiac Grand Prix is real. And yes, we know what you're thinking, Pontiac was discontinued in 2010. So how are we talking about a 2026 model? That's the beauty of automotive resurrection. Whether it's a serious GM internal project, a boutique custom build, or a limited run revival built on an existing GM platform, what we're looking at here is one of the most ambitious and unexpected returns in modern American automotive history. The Grand Prix, in its heyday, was a muscle-bound, mid-size performance sedan that, depending on the era, leaned into luxury, brute power, or affordable speed. It had its moments of glory, especially in the late 60s and early 2000s, but it also faded into obscurity as the market shifted. When Pontiac went under during the GM restructuring, so too did the Grand Prix. Until now. The 2026 Grand Prix is a spiritual successor. Built by a collective of designers, engineers, and former GM insiders under a revived Pontiac performance division, this vehicle isn't just a name slapped on a frame. It's a deliberate, passionate attempt to pick up where the nameplate left off and then evolve it into something worthy of a modern performance audience. It's built on a reworked version of GM's Alpha platform, the same bones that underpin the Camaro and Cadillac CT4V. That gives it rear-wheel drive credentials, excellent weight distribution, and a foundation built for enthusiasts. But the Grand Prix takes its own route from there. Let's talk design. It's bold, not retro, but definitely referential. The front end carries a wide, almost aggressive split grille, with LED strips that trace the shape of the old quad-light setups from the 60s, but with a distinctly 2020s lighting signature. The hood is sculpted and purposeful, with functioning vents that tie into the cooling and aero package. The profile? Long, low, and planted. There's no unnecessary swoops or excessive lines, just clean creases and athletic proportions. Flush door handles, functional brake ducts, and subtly widened fenders hint at its performance without screaming for attention. Around back, a full-width taillight bar recalls the later GTP models, but modernized. Dual exhaust squad on the V8 sit under a contoured diffuser. Now, let's get to the engine options, because this is where it gets real interesting. Base trims start with a 2.7 liters turbocharged inline-4 putting out 325 horsepower and 380 pounds-to-feet of torque. This isn't your typical base engine. It's GM's high-output variant, and it's designed to give strong torque from low RPMs. Ideal for daily driving and spirited corner carving. Step up, and you get a twin-turbo 3.6 liters V6, an evolution of GM's LGY engine, tuned specifically for the Grand Prix to push out 455 horsepower and 445 pounds-to-feet. That's right in the sweet spot of modern muscle sedans. And it's no slouch. This trim gets GM's 10-speed automatic with paddle shifters, adaptive suspension, and an electronic limited slip differential. But then there's the GXP, the top dog trim. This is what Build and Burn is all about. Under the hood of the GXP is a reworked version of the LT2 6.2 liters V8, yes, the one from the C8 Corvette, but with a crossplane crank, a revised intake, and GM's latest hybrid assist system. It's pushing 575 horsepower and 580 pounds-to-feet, with electric boost kicking in at low revs and under hard launches. This hybrid system isn't about efficiency, it's about torque fill. Instant off-the-line power, with a gas motor that still screams to 6,500 RPM. It's connected to a revised version of GM's 10-speed performance automatic, with magnesium paddle shifters and a track mode that enables full manual control. 0 to 60? 3.5 seconds. Quarter mile? 11.6. Top speed? 182 miles per hour. All in a four-door that weighs just over 3,800 pounds. But power is nothing without control. The Grand Prix GXP comes standard with GM's Magnetic Ride Control 5.0, the most advanced iteration of their magnet or helical dampers. Combined with active rear steering, variable ratio electric steering, and massive Brembo brakes, 6-piston fronts, 4-piston rears, this thing doesn't just go fast in a straight line. It corners like something half its size. You've also got a dual-mode exhaust, with active baffles that open wide under throttle, delivering a raspy, old-school muscle tone that's still refined enough to cruise under the radar when you need it. Inside, Pontiac's Revival crew didn't cut corners either. This cabin is clearly driver-focused. You sit low, with a flat-bottom Alcantara-wrapped steering wheel, forged aluminium paddles, and a 12.8-inch curved digital cluster that can be reconfigured with different performance layouts, from classic analog look gauges to race telemetry. The infotainment system is GM's latest UI, with full Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, over-the-air updates, and an optional head-up display that integrates with GPS to show turn-by-turn directions on canyon roads, even track layout previews when you're running circuits. Seats? Recaro-developed buckets in the GXP. Leather and microfiber blend, power bolsters, and a massage function if you feel fancy. The rear seats are surprisingly usable, thanks to the long wheelbase, and there's 16 cubic feet of trunk space, enough to make this a real grand touring machine. And yes, there's a drift mode. We tested it. As for build quality, this isn't a slap-together nostalgia piece. Panel fitment is tight. Materials feel premium. The stitching is legit. Even the plastics where they exist are textured and soft. Nothing about this car says parts bin special, even though it does share components with other GM performance platforms. Let's talk driving dynamics. The base car is fun, light, tossable, balanced. That 2.7 Turbo 4 has serious grunt, and the chassis is communicative. It feels like a modern take on a 90s sports sedan, with enough daily usability to make sense as a commuter. The V6 twin-turbo takes things to a new level. Throttle response is sharp, turbo lag is nearly imperceptible, and mid-range power is addictive. This is the model we think most buyers will gravitate toward. It hits the performance and price sweet spot. But again, the GXP is where it's at. From the moment you press the red start button and hear that V8 rumble to life, you know this thing is serious. The hybrid assist makes launches brutal. There's no wait, no build-up, just torque, immediately. The steering is precise, with a nice weight and feedback that's rare in anything under $100,000. Toss it into a corner, and you can feel the chassis tighten. The rear steering subtly helps you rotate. The car stays flat. Power down mid-corner, and the rear end steps out just enough to remind you it's RWD biased, but the electronics keep it from getting hairy unless you turn them off. On track, we logged a 1:36 lap time at Willow Springs, faster than a Charger Hellcat and just behind a BMW M5 competition. That's elite territory. So what does it cost? The base Turbo 4 starts at around $41,000. The twin-turbo V6 model begins just under $50,000. The GXP? You're looking at $69,995 before options. Fully loaded? About $75,000. That puts it right against the BMW M340i, the Audi S5 Sportback, and the Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio, and honestly, the Grand Prix holds its own. Critics will ask, who is this for? Pontiac is dead, right? But that's the thing. This car isn't just about brand revival. It's about identity. It's about American performance not trying to copy Europe, but doing its own thing. Rear-wheel drive, V8 powered, stylish, loud, and fast. This isn't a committee-built crossover. It's an enthusiast's car, born from a passion project with real engineering chops behind it. Will it sell in massive numbers? Probably not. But it's not supposed to. This is a statement. A prototype gone wild. A phoenix from the ashes of Pontiac's legacy. A love letter to those who remember when cars had personality and to those discovering that feeling for the first time. And here's the wild card: rumors are swirling that GM might turn this into a sub-brand. Just like how Polestar split from Volvo, or how Dodge is spinning off Performance Fs. If the Grand Prix sells, there could be more: a Firebird F coupe, a modern GTO, even a performance SUV under the Pontiac badge. So what's the verdict? The 2026 Grand Prix isn't perfect. The infotainment still has occasional lag. Rear visibility could be better. And some might not love the idea of resurrecting a dead brand. But when you're behind the wheel, carving through mountain roads with that V8 roaring and the tires clawing for grip, none of that matters. It's fast. It's fun. It's flawed in all the right ways. And most importantly, it's back. We'll be following this story closely. If you're as hyped as we are about the return of Pontiac, let us know in the comments. Would you buy a new Grand Prix? Or are you sticking with the classics? This has been another Build and Burn deep dive. Thanks for riding with us.